I don't know if you saw this recent ad on TV, television advertisement, which it was all about what it looks like to be a man. How do you know you're a man? And it was, I confess, maybe you've seen it. It was painful to watch. Um, but it really got me thinking biblically, what does it look like to be a man? And you don't have to be a biologist to know what a man is, okay? But what does it biblically look like? Because that is not talked about too much these days. It has nothing to do with guns or cars or whether you can, how good you are working with your hands necessarily, how tough you are, how much you're in the gym. A lot of times people have these misconceptions. What is it to be a man biblically? I want to give you a bunch of things to think about here. Number one, to pray regularly. You're not a man, especially a man of God, if you are not on your knees often before God the Father. Because if you're just trying to depend upon yourself, you're going to fail in every way imaginable. You got to pray to be dependent upon the Holy Spirit, be continually asking to be refilled with the Spirit of God. Because it's not just about being a man, it should be how do I be a good man, right? And not just a good man, a very godly man, the kind of man that God created me to be, that He wants me to be. What about loving your wives? That is what a man should do. Like as Christ loved the church. Being faithful. Being faithful not only to your wife, but also to your children. Being faithful to God with your time, money, things like that. Leading your families well in Bible reading, in prayer, teaching your children how to pray, discipling your children. You want to be a man? Disciple your kids. And for the most part, unless you're content and you can stay under control, you can remain completely self-controlled, you should get married. Some people have that special calling like the Apostle Paul did, but for most guys, they ought to get married, have children, lead their families well, and disciple their kids. That's what it looks like to be a man. Witness for Christ. Whether you happen at this moment to be married or single, though, a lot of these things can apply to you. Be a good witness for Jesus Christ. How are you a man if you're not a good witness, if you're afraid to open your mouth for Jesus and to defend the Bible and to lift up the name of God? You're not. Men should not be afraid of things like that. A real man will suffer with strength for Christ, be willing to suffer. Turn the other cheek. Being a man is not always fighting back. Now, protecting when necessary, of course. If you have to protect your family or protect your children, that kind of thing. But if somebody just hits you, and you just want to hit them back out of anger, that's not being a man. That's not biblical. Jesus was a man, and He turned the other cheek when He was insulted, spit upon, mocked, cursed, beaten, and even crucified. Be like Him. Be like Him. A real man will love their enemies, not just their friends. A real man will work hard and provide for his family. Give to missions often. You'll give to missions often. Give to missionaries and support them. Keep yourself unspotted from the world. That's a tough one. Whether it be worldly music, ungodly comedians, videos, hobbies, places you go, things you listen to, things you watch. Keep yourself unspotted from the world. That means pure, separated from, undefiled. Nobody's asking you to be a monk, okay? But you got to keep yourself. You can't love the world and love God the Father at the same time. Tell the truth. Live holy. Be full of the Spirit. Full of the Holy Spirit. Ultimately, be like God. Full of love. Full of Jesus. If you want to ultimately be a man, what is a man? What is a godly man? He looks like Christ did. And Jesus was under control. He was meek. It was strength under control. And He lived to please God and to do the will of God every day. That's what it means That's what it means to be a man. And it has nothing to do with what most people think about when they first consider a question like that. So let us be like Jesus.